So today I'd like to go through some of the options that you have for holding your laser handpiece when you want to work at a distance from your client. The first option obviously is just to hold it. And that works well, but sometimes it can get a bit tiring if you're going to stand in the same spot for minutes, and holding it still is not always so easy. So the one that I recommend is the overhead arm. This is my absolute favourite. I have had this now for a few months and I absolutely love it. So it's a bit like the arm that you see in your dentist office with a light on the end of it. So you move it to wherever you want it to be, and as soon as you stop moving it, that's where it stays. So it has a number of joints on it. So this joint here is 360 degrees, so you can go all the way around. Got another 360 degree joint here to go all the way around this way. This joint will go as high as you need it ever to go and down to about 60 degrees. And then we have another 360 degree joint on the end here. Finally, a little gooseneck. That just helps you to get that final little bit of adjustment so that you can get it on just the right angle for whatever part of the body that you're treating. So your laser handpiece then goes on the end of that. Using this also means that you have nothing on the floor to trip over. So it's really safe. The only thing that might get in the way sometimes is your laser cable, and that's not something that we can do without. So it's very secure in holding your handpiece. So I can't imagine what you would have to do to knock this thing out. Because everything moves and it doesn't take a whole lot of pressure to get it moving, then it just stays where it needs to go, and the clamp is really well designed to hold it where you want it. So it will go anywhere you need it to go around your table. So we'll get right down to the feet area down here, up the side, and head, shoulders, neck, wherever you need to treat. Ideally, if you have a table that moves, occasionally you do want to get it 90 degrees, and so you might need to raise your table to get there. If you don't have a movable table, then we can put a longer gooseneck on here, so you get that little bit of extra reach. Or the other option is we can make this part as long as it's needed to get wherever it is that you need to go for your particular situation. When you're finished with it, it just goes up out of the way. Somebody would need to be about 6'4" to knock into this with their head. And even if they do, it moves. So it's not something that's likely to injure anyone because it's so well designed. The ceiling attachment on this one is set to the height for a standard 2400, like a normal household ceiling. It will extend to, you can do up to a 3000 height ceiling. It will attach to various types of ceiling, so even a suspended ceiling, there's a particular attachment that they have to do suspended ceiling. So pretty much any ceiling that you have, this can be attached to. There is a wall mounted option as well, so if that suits your particular situation, then that's available too. So everything's the same, except that it's mounted off a wall rather than from above. The next option is to use a mobile stand. So if your business involves multiple clinics or some kind of mobile type situation, then this could be a good option for you. It's a stand, basic tripod base on it, so it will go just about anywhere and be secure on most surfaces. The main adjustment on this is your big gooseneck, so you get that wherever you need it to be. And the same little gooseneck as what we had on the overhead arm gets you that little final bit of adjustment to get it just right. It will go high if you need it to, so you can get it up pretty much as high as you would ever need it to go. And I guess the main downside for using this is that you have an extra thing sitting around to trip over when you're working. I used it for a long time, many years, and it works really well, but having the overhead arm just out of the way is just so much better. However, it's a much more affordable option, and if you need the mobility, then this is probably the one that you need. The final option is to have this mounted on a trolley. So it's basically from here up. So you've got the long gooseneck followed by the short gooseneck. You might want to have two of these, so you have one on each side. The downside of that is that sometimes it's difficult to get trolleys into a particular spot depending on what your setup is. But if that works for you, then it means you've got one less thing sitting around because this is mounted on top of your laser trolley anyway. So that's pretty much your options for holding the laser when you want it hands-free.